Gentlemen, welcome to Forward Operating Base Liberty. Let me bring you up to speed and then give you your mission. In October, Denovia invaded and overthrew the democratically elected government of Gorgas. The remains of the government and the military were able to flee east and seek haven in Atropia. Since the invasion, there have been widespread reports of the Denovian military committing atrocities against the population as they try to stamp out the last vestiges of resistance. In December, the United Nations Security Council authorized military action against Denovia in order to reinstate the government of Gorgas and stabilize this region. In January, coalition forces that had been staged in Atropia crossed the Atropian-Gorgan border and after brief fighting, secured the crossroads at the flagpole where we have established this fob. This is where we stand now. Satellite and unmanned aerial system reconnaissance confirms that the Denovians are repositioning their remaining forces to control the eastern corridors to prevent us from retaking Baku Gorgas. Lieutenant Colonel Miller, your battalion is the lead element of the coalition attack. Current intelligence estimates that a mechanized rifle company is setting up defensive positions in this hill network just east of this major road intersection. Assumed locations for associated units based on Denovian doctrine are shown here. 134 is to seize not later than 08-0730 March, objective Judson, in order to facilitate the forward passage of the rest of the brigade. Phase line Mo is your limit of advance.
This mission is an example of a movement to contact. As defined by ADRP 3-90, movement to contact is an offensive task designed to develop the situation and establish or regain contact. When executed properly, it develops the combat situation and maintains the commander's freedom of action after contact is gained. The fundamentals of a movement to contact in FM 3-90-1 are: focus all efforts on finding the enemy. Make initial contact with the smallest force possible consistent with protecting the force. Make initial contact with small, mobile, self-contained forces to avoid decisive engagement of the main body on ground chosen by the enemy. Task organize the force and use movement formations to deploy and attack rapidly in any direction. Keep subordinate forces within supporting distances to facilitate a flexible response. Maintain contact regardless of the course of action adopted once contact is gained. When planning a movement to contact, a commander organizes his force, at a minimum, into a forward security force and the main body. Security forces can consist of a covering force, an advance guard, flank security, given either a guard or screen mission, and a rear security element which can also be given either a guard or screen mission. At the brigade and battalion level, units normally only create a separate advance guard due to resource limitations. Units within the echelon main body are assigned responsibility for flank and rear security as required by the mission variables. The advance guard operates forward of the main body to ensure its uninterrupted advance by reducing obstacles to create passage lanes, repair roads and bridges, or locate bypasses. It also protects the main body from surprise attack and fixes the enemy to protect the deployment of the main body when it is committed to action. The elements composing the advance guard should have equal or preferably superior mobility to that of the main body. For this reason, combined arms units containing a mixture of mechanized or striker-equipped infantry, armor, and reconnaissance elements are most suitable for use in an advance guard. Engineer assets should also be a part of the advance guard whenever possible. The advance guard moves as quickly and aggressively as possible while remaining within the supporting range of the main body's weapon systems. When it encounters large enemy forces, it takes prompt and aggressive action to develop the situation and, within its capability, defeat the enemy. When the command's rear or flanks are not protected by adjacent or following units, it must provide its own flank and rear security elements. The main body is the element that will conduct the decisive operation within the conduct of the movement to contact. It consists of all the forces not detailed to security forces, to include the combat forces that will respond to the enemy contact with the security forces and the sustainment elements needed to sustain the mission. The commander designates a portion of the main body for use as the reserve. FM 3-90-1 uses a 5-step sequence to discuss the execution of a movement to contact. Gain and maintain enemy contact, disrupt the enemy, fix the enemy, maneuver, follow through. Each step within this 5-step sequence tends to overlap with the other steps during actual execution. This 5-step sequence is for discussion purposes only and is not the only way of conducting this offensive task. The battalion commander has received his mission and must now organize his forces so that his force is able to identify and fix the enemy with the smallest force capable of the task. For this mission, the commander identified Company Bravo to serve as the advance guard and gives Company Bravo priority of fire for both the battalion's heavy mortars and the ABCT's field artillery battalion. Company Bravo is task organized into a company team by exchanging its 3rd Rifle Platoon for a tank platoon from Company Delta. This tank platoon is attached to Team Bravo. It is further augmented with the attachment of a combat engineer platoon and a breach squad from the Brigade Engineer Battalion and the Battalion Scout Platoon. Allocation of the battalion's 2 mine rollers and 6 mine clearing blades occurs. The team's attached Fire Support Team, or FIST, from the battalion headquarters and headquarters company designates suspected enemy positions as targets. In a similar manner, the battalion's supporting Forward Support Company provides a maintenance team to support each maneuver company, but this team is not depicted here. Team Bravo moves across the line of departure in a modified company wedge formation using the movement technique of traveling overwatch. Team Bravo's attached scout platoon moves out in a zone reconnaissance focused on discovering enemy defending forces and obstacles moving along the walls of the central corridor. They seek to confirm all suspected enemy positions previously detected by shadow UASs from the ABCT Military Intelligence Company. They also seek to discover any previously unidentified enemy positions and identify potential bypasses around obstacles or the best place to breach if there are no available ways to bypass the obstacles. Once the team is near locations where contact with enemy forces is expected, the team employs the bounding overwatch movement technique. The movements of the scout platoon are overwatched by the Abrams and Bradleys of Team Bravo to the maximum extent possible. Once Team Bravo makes contact with enemy forces, it conducts actions on contact. ADRP 3-90 defines actions on contact as a series of combat actions, often conducted nearly simultaneously, taken on contact with the enemy to develop the situation. FM 3-90-1 further develops this definition by explaining these actions as deploy and report, evaluate and develop the situation, choose a course of action, execute selected course of action, recommend a course of action to the higher commander. In this situation, scouts from Team Bravo's attached scout platoon detect the presence of 4 BMPs, forming a screen line across the team's route of advance, along with a wire obstacle. That information is reported to the Team Bravo commander, who evaluates the situation and chooses as a course of action, having the tank platoon engage and destroy the screening enemy platoon. After passing the necessary orders to the tank platoon, he further directs the engineer platoon to more closely inspect the remains of the enemy platoon's combat vehicles to ensure that those pose no further danger to the cab main body. Upon receiving confirmation from the tank platoon leader that all 4 enemy BMPs have been destroyed, the Team Bravo commander, or XO, makes a spot report to the cab commander and recommends continuation of the mission. Enemy forces that cannot be destroyed are fixed in their current locations until they can be defeated or destroyed by forces from the Combined Arms Battalion, or CAB, main body. The team's attached FIST calls for indirect fires, including smoke as necessary. The attached engineers breach obstacles that will hinder the battalion's advance. Because enemy contact is likely, the main body will follow and support Team Bravo with 3 companies abreast and support elements trailing. Battalion heavy mortars will travel with the center company team in order to support the advance guard. The CAB main body consists of Teams Alpha, Charlie, and Delta, Headquarters and Headquarters Company, or HHC, with its heavy mortar platoon, and the CAB's Supporting Forward Support Company, or FSC. Once the advance guard fixes the enemy force with direct and indirect fires, the rest of the Combined Arms Battalion maneuvers to destroy the enemy main body. Upon destruction of the enemy, the Combined Arms Battalion consolidates and defends the road intersection and conducts a forward passage of lines with the rest of the coalition assault force moving down to Baku. A doctrinal discussion of a forward passage of lines is discussed in FM 3-90-1. To recap the fundamentals of a movement to contact, focus all efforts on finding the enemy. Make initial contact with the smallest force possible. Make initial contact with small, mobile, self-contained forces to avoid decisive engagement of the main body on ground chosen by the enemy. Keep subordinate forces within supporting distance. Task organize the force and use movement formations to deploy and attack rapidly in any direction. Maintain contact regardless of the course of action adopted once contact is gained. This and other offensive tasks are found in FM 3-90-1 Offense and Defense, and is part of the Doctrine 2015 initiative.